Hello, Vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. So, today in this video, we are diving into an essential feature of Apache JMeter's JSR223 assertion. So, if we are looking to supercharge our performance testing and validation capabilities, then you are in the right place. So, just a quick introduction on what is JSR223 assertion. So JSR223 assertion is a powerful tool that allows us to perform custom validations on the responses we receive from our web application or services. So whether we want to ensure specific text is present or to ensure or to validate the response times or even execute complex calculations, the JSR223 assertions has got you covered. So by leveraging the scripting languages like Groovy, we can create dynamic and flexible validation logic that goes beyond what the built-in assertions offer. So this means we can tailor our assertions to our unique testing scenarios, making our performance testing more accurate and efficient. So today we will see how to use the JSR223 assertions with some examples. So throughout this video, we will explore the practical examples, step-by-step guides, and best practices for using JSR223 assertions effectively. So whether you are a performance testing pro or you're just starting out or you're mastering your JSR223 assertion, this will elevate your testing game and help you ensure your applications meet their performance target. So if you're ready to make your JMeter skills to next level, let's dive right in and uncover the world of JSR223 assertion. So now let me create a template. So I'm going to the templates here and I'm creating a simple. So this is going to be a very simple HTTP request. Sorry, not this one, but the simple HTTP request, and I'm creating it. Just click on create again. So here we have got the simple HTTP request. So let me go to the application here and let me get the simple request. I do not want to record and just waste your time now. So I'm clicking on fish, do an F12, do a refresh. So let's get the request here. So I'm just copying the request, coming back to the JMeter. So the protocol is HTTPS and then the server name. So anything that comes until the .com is the server name, and then I'm pasting the path here, and the method here is get. So let me change the method to get. And before we add our assertion, let's do a quick check. So I'm running this file. Let's save this. Let me go to my folder, the bin folder. So species, C drive, and Apache JMeter 5.6, bin, and under examples, let me create a folder. It's going to be JSR223 underscore assertion. So let me open it and let me save this. So we have saved this file and the view results tree. So here, let me change this to HTML and you can see we are at the right page. So now let us add the JSR223 assertion. So I'm right clicking on this, I'm selecting the add assertion and then the JSR223 assertion. So I'm going to select the languages Groovy and no any other changes. So let's write the code now. So what I'm going to write now is, so this JSR223 assertion, so we are going to get the response time of this particular HTTP request. So for that, I'm writing a def response time equals previous dot get time of, and then I'm going to define the maximum allowed response time. So we all know the response time in JMeter comes in milliseconds. So I'm defining the maximum allowed response time. So this maximum time, it can be your SLA. So in case if you are running a test and you want to find whether the test is passed or not, you do not even want to go to the results. Once you run this test with this JSR223 assertion, automatically it will tell you that whether the test is passed or failed. You do not even uh, need to check the results. Okay, so let me add an if condition. So where I'm checking the response time is within the allowed threshold. So the condition goes like this. So if the response time, so here if the response time is greater than the maximum response time, so we are going, so this code is very simple, but it's very powerful actually. So this will actually save us a lot of time. We do not need to do a lot of validations like go through each and every request to find the value. So here, so if the assertion is failed, we can set an error message, which is going to be assertion result dot set failure of true, and then the assertion result is going to be set failure message. So automatically you will get this message, which is the transaction has crossed the SLA. So with that, we automatically know that the application has crossed the SLA and unfortunately it has failed the test, right? So now let me save this again and let me run this test for you. So I'm just running it once, and let's go to the view results tree. So here you can see that result has passed because the response time is less than 500. So since this is a very simple request, we normally get the response time less than 500. So what I'm going to do now is let me bring down the maximum response time. So let me bring it down to 50, just 50. So if it is less than 50 seconds, it will fail. So let me save it again, refresh, run this test. So here you can see the transaction has crossed the SLA and it has failed. So same way, if I want to add another request, so in fact in our test we will have multiple transactions, multiple thread groups, multiple scripts. So for example, I'm adding another script. So let me duplicate it here. And in the previous script, we have searched for fish. So in this one, we will search for the dogs. So I'm just going to change the script to dogs here. And the second thing is, if I want to set up this particular assertion for all these, so for example, if I'm setting 50 as the maximum response time for the first transaction, and for the second transaction the client tells that it's okay, I can accept 500 as the maximum response time. So let me save it, and if I run this script again, here you can see the very first transaction has failed because it is greater than 50 milliseconds, and the second transaction has passed because the response time is less than 500 milliseconds. I mean, the maximum response time is less than 500 milliseconds. So by this way, even we can set up response times for each and every page, and we do not, and even this helps us to identify whether we have crossed the SLA or whether everything is working fine. So now what we will do is, there is another option. So what if I want to test all the pages and every pages has the same response time? It's not just for one page, it's for every page. So the client tells you that for all the pages I want 500 to be the maximum response time. So you do not want to add the assertions into your each and every script. So what you can do is, let me disable this, and I'm bringing this outside. So I'm bringing this outside the thread group or outside this script. So now if I'm running this, let me save this again and let's clear this and let's run the script. So here you can see all the pages has the same level of assertion. So even we can test it like this way. So I'm just deleting this 50 here, make it to 50, and then if I run this test again, so here you can see even this is less than 50, so that's the reason it has passed, but this one has failed because it's more than the maximum response time is more than 50 seconds. So what we can do is, like, we can add a better one. So we can add another listener, which is the summary report. So this will tell us very clearly. So let's run it again. And here we can see the maximum response time is 50. And let's go to the results tree. So here you can see the first one has failed, the second one has passed. So let me change this number here to 01 and this one to 02. Let's save it, clear this, run this test again. So here you can see the first transaction has its maximum response time more than 50 and the second transaction has less than 50, and that's the reason the first one has failed and the second one has passed. So now you will have a question whether this assertion will work only for maximum response time. No, we also can write for the average response time, because in most of our tests we do take the results from average response time. So even we can write the results for the average response time. So let's see how to do that. So come to the assertion here and let me change. So we have the maximum response time, which is the maximum response time values in the table here. So if we want to take it for the average, can come back to the assertion and change this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the assertion value here. So this is going to be max. So for example, we do not want to confuse a lot, so let's have only one SLA for each of them. So in case if you want to add multiple assertions, please feel free to add all your assertions here. But for now, I'm going to add just max average response time, and I'm copying the same value here and giving it here. So we have the max average response time, and again, I'm setting the same value here, which is 50. And then let me save it. So since if I do not want to just run one script, because it will anyways give only one maximum, so let me add the thread to 5 and let me add the count, like to count or to number of iterations. So we'll have totally 20 iterations. And let's now run the test, and we go to the view results tree to the summary report. So here we can see the HTTP request 2 has average response time of 37 here, and 1 again it is little high, so we have got 75. And let's come to the view results tree. So here you can see at some transactions it has passed, and for some it has failed. For some of them it has failed based on the assertions that we have kept as part of this assertion. So at the summary report here you can see some of them have got 37 as the response time, and then some of them has got. So it all depends on what is the average level of response time that we have got. So we can use this assertion to understand or to in fact check how does the test went. So in case if I, since this is a very lesser limit, we might get this. So for example, if I am increasing this to 500, so let me just set it up to 500. And also, even in case if you are getting response times to particular amount, even you can calculate like how much percentage of numbers have crossed this limit. So let me save this again, clear all this, run this test again, go to the summary report. So here you can see the averages are less than 500, which is just 74 and 35. So let's come back to the view results tree. So the test is very clear. So we can actually improve, or we can add a lot of values to it. So with that I come to an end. We will see another interesting example in our next video. In case if you have any doubts or queries, please feel free to comment in the comment section, ask your questions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video with your friends. So until I meet you in another interesting video, it's Bhavya from Assertion and Little's Law.